Oh yeah, here we go now.
This week it's kind of apropos that Cara has laryngitis because we're on a quiet campaign. That's right, we're going to be adding lizard skin to the 67.
Waiting on back orders again? Your neighbor isn't. He ordered from NPD. National Parts Depot continues to be the nation's leading source for quality restoration parts and supplies for Ford, Truck, Mustang, Camaro, Chevelle, and Firebird. With 4 strategically located superstores, you'll find everything you need shipped to your door within 1 to 3 business days. For your free catalog, visit NPD online or call toll-free. Don't let back orders stall your project. NPD takes the frustration out of restoration.
Quite frankly, heat and sound can be a major annoyance in a vintage car. We're all used to driving around in cars that are pretty well insulated from both heat and sound. Vintage cars, not so much. Especially like this 67 Mustang Fastback. The original sound deadening in these cars was pretty atrocious if you really want to know the truth. The Grande's actually got a little bit more sound control, but overall, these cars were not great on sound or heat control. What we're going to be doing though on this particular car, and you can do this to your car as well, is using a product called Lizard Skin. Now Lizard Skin is a great product because A, it's a water-based product so it's sprayable, and B, it does a super job of controlling heat and sound. They have actually 2 products to do this with. One is strictly a sound control product and the other is a sound deadener and heat control. Now we're going to be doing something kind of neat. We're going to be giving you a before and after with both a digital temperature meter as well as a dB meter. We'll be doing sound and heat test on this car. So check this out. You're going to find this pretty fascinating. What we're going to be using for our heat test is a Wagner heat gun. Now this heat gun is going to provide about 150 degrees of temperature underneath that car. We're not going to do it on a roof panel because we don't want to ruin the work we've already done, but we're really not that worried about the undercarriage because we've got some plans for that later on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our heat gun in a couple of seconds and we're going to see what kind of temperatures we can generate on this floor pan with the heat gun and no lizard skin product on it. And we bought ourselves a digital thermometer from Harbor Freight, and basically these thermometers, you can get them pretty much anywhere now, but we're going to use this to get an ambient reading off the panel on the floor to see what our ambient temperature is, oddly enough. And our ambient temperature is 65.2 degrees. Now we know how cold the metal is. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take and put our heat gun underneath the panel and heat this area right here. Now what we're going to do with that is it's going to give us a reading on what the heat of this panel is with the ambient temperature that we already have established. In other words, we're going to see just how much more heat this thing puts out with this setup. I'm getting a gauge reading right here, and it is 158.6 degrees. That sucker's hot. And we want to get rid of that temperature by adding lizard skin. Sad what ends up on the cutting room floor, isn't it? By the way, according to Douglas Adams, the answer is 42. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our hot water that we've got over here and we're going to use it to clean the floor. Now, why we're using a warm or hot water solution is the warm water will tend to dissipate quicker off of the panel than if we were to just use a straight cold water solution. We'll do this to the entire interior of the car so that the lizard skin has a really good place to stick to. That's very important when you're using a product like this. Make sure your surfaces are primed and that they're also clean. The consistency of the ceramic insulator are what give it its thermal properties and allow it to drop temperatures in the car dramatically.
Be sure when you're setting it up though to mix it so that it's kind of the consistency of cake batter. That's what you're looking for.
You're probably wondering how you're going to spray this stuff. You're going to use a gun like this. This Mascoat gun that we got from the guys at Lizard Skin has everything you need in there to spray the system as it stands. You can either use a cup, like we're going to do, or you can actually stick a siphon down to the top of the buckets after you mix everything and do it that way. If you're doing the whole car, the bucket approach is probably a lot better. It's really better for just doing detail work.
Time to spray!
Sorry, I got carried away.
Spray this product out like you would primer or paint. There's really no right or wrong way to do this, but you just want to make sure you get good, complete coverage on the panel. And make sure you stick something in holes that you want to retain. For instance, if you have screw holes in the floor that you need to keep, put in some kind of pin or a stick or something to make sure that that hole stays the way it is, because this product is fairly thick and it can fill those holes.
Right, now we've already given you a good example of the kind of heat that can be generated out of the floor pan of your car from the engine and exhaust system. There's another panel you have to be concerned about, and that's the roof. That roof panel can generate a bunch of heat and noise, and that heat and noise is going to be kind of annoying with your car. Now, granted, Ford and all the other manufacturers had insulation in the roof of the car. Usually it was a fiberglass batting insulation and not really all that effective. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our dB meter here, and we're going to have my beautiful, lovely, and always assistant Carla come in and whack the roof for us so that we can see just how many dBs are created by whacking the roof without any insulation in it whatsoever. Carla? Right. Now, we got 86 dB out of that whack. So you can see that a lot of noise can be generated, and just think about all the noise coming in through the chassis that's going to be funneled into that roof. Lizard Skin and products like Lizard Skin will reduce that sound and also reduce the amount of heat coming into the car. And since this car is going to be Night Mist Blue, we want as much heat reduction as we can possibly get.
When you're spraying Lizard Skin, you need to remove everything from the area that can be unbolted. Like, for instance, our brackets for the overhead console in our 1967 Fastback. Hopefully you marked your bows, because bows can be side and placement specific.
We're going to go over a couple of things here. A is this. When you're using the Lizard Skin product system and you use both products, both the sound control and the ceramic insulation, make sure that you put the sound control down first and that it's 1 millimeter thick. Then follow that up with the ceramic insulation. Don't apply them in reverse, or Lizard Skin says the product won't work as well. So we don't know that there's a big difference there, but let's always try to follow directions. And though many of us are creative and want to color outside the lines, try not to in this case. As you can see, we've already hit the upper areas of the car. We could show you how we sprayed that, but quite frankly, it sprays just like the floor pan, so if you want that, here you go. See? It's the same thing, only on the floor pan. Now, we didn't shoot the stuff going into the roof because, quite frankly, we were running out of time. But one other thing we wanted to go over with you is this. Whenever you're spraying this stuff, cover all the openings, because I'll tell you this, when we did the floor pans, this stuff got everywhere, and it's not the fault of Lizard Skin. It was probably me being madcap with the spray gun. But you don't want to get this stuff in areas that you don't realize it's in, and then go to the paint shop and have to scrape off all these little balls of Lizard Skin. That sounds kind of nasty, doesn't it?
Now, we're just about to leave out for Mustang Central to get the car painted in our Night Mist Blue Metallic, but what we wanted to show you was what we found with the Lizard Skin product. We thought we would be a little impressed with, but what we like about this product is it reduces resonance. Now, you heard the ring of the roof when we did our first experiment with it. What we're going to do now is my beautiful, lovely, and always assistant Carla is going to take the high-tech whacking device and whack the roof panel. Once more. Now, we got a 13 dB drop from where we whacked it before. Same location. But what's more important is the lack of resonance in the roof. That's going to make a huge difference in the way the car sounds and feels on the road. That's what you want out of your car. Though it's an unofficial test, we've actually put the Lizard Skin through its paces, both here at the shop and when it was at Mustang Central. We did all sorts of things. We have had to work inside the car, rooting around, doing things underneath the dash, actually cutting the tunnel for the 5-speed. We didn't finish putting the Lizard Skin in before because we weren't sure if we were going to have to weld anything in when we did the 5-speed. We didn't, because quite frankly, Lizard Skin's not that great for welding. No. But what we want to find out now is how it is on heat control. We've done a unofficial scrub test of it and it fared pretty well. Now we're going to show you how it handles the heat. Alright, we've got our digital thermometer again and we've got our heat gun. So we're going to go ahead and do the test that we did before, basically the same thing. We're going to give an ambient temperature reading off of the panel, and then we're also going to go in and do a heat test after we do the ambient temperature. Ambient temperature on the floor pan right now is running around 77 degrees. It's a little warmer out than it was when we did this test before. I'm going to take the heat gun, put it underneath the panel, and generate some heat. One thing I'm noticing right away is it's taking a long time for it to generate any heat inside the cab. Ow, I'm smelling burning paint. The panel's at 123.7 degrees right now. Now, think about how long it took for that to happen. Before, it was almost instantaneous. So you're getting a really nice heat control out of this, and I'm probably going to have to paint something in the floor pan here in a little bit. But that's okay. It's nice and cool inside my car.